Hello, everybody. It's Queen. I'm back. Yeah, I'm back. Guess what we're making today? Butter. Yes. And I'm busy in here splashing up my kitchen, making y'all some butter. Now, don't be intimidated because making butter is easier than making grits or pouring yourself a cup of juice or whatever. It's easy, guys. It's so easy. I'm kind of embarrassed to show it to you, but I'll show it to you. Just to have a video up. That's my homemade cultured buttermilk that I'll show you guys how to do that. These are my favorite creams to use when I'm making butter. They have a high butter fat content, so it's going to make a creamier butter. As a result of using them, I try to get the boxes that say heavy whipping cream. You can also get the ones that say heavy cream because they're all the same, but I don't know. I just like the ones that say heavy whipping cream. Actually, the Kroger one is good. It has 40% fat in it, so that's a good cream. So does Land O'Lakes. These are also high. I think the Shamrock is like 38% and the Mayola is like 38%. But, research your own cream. If you have access to a dairy farm where you can get raw cream, oh boy, that's the best. But if you don't, then just use any of these. It's good for a final project because that's what I use for my final project. This in this bowl is the heavy cream. This one I'm using in this bowl. Basically, what butter is just heavy cream whipped to death. I mean, it's past the whipped cream stage, and it start curdling and slapping against the bowl and looks like a mess in your bowl like this. I hope you guys can see that. Let me lift the mixer. It's beginning to turn into butter, so that's why I stopped it right now, because I don't want you guys sitting here listening to a mixer just mix. I'm showing you a crucial step, if you want to call it that. But this is almost there, guys. This is almost there. And over here in this bowl, I have a finished product of butter that I made earlier to show you guys, and why it's in ice water to keep it cold. And also I squeeze the rest of the milk out of it, and you want the water to run clear. After you take it out of the mixer, form it into a ball, you want to take it to an ice bath and bathe it, basically squeeze all of the milkiness out of it, which is butter fat, which is the buttermilk, I'm sorry. That milky stuff. That's came out of the butter that I'm going to show you guys. It's a lot of it that comes out. This in this jar right here is the buttermilk that came out of that piece of butter. And I like to, you can use the buttermilk straight from after you make your butter, and I'll show you. I like to culture my buttermilk because this way it's thick like the ones in the store. So what I'll do is use the buttermilk that comes off of the butter like I did here. And actually I started this one a couple of days ago. When I made the butter, I'm going to show you guys the final project. But I cultured it. I used 2 tablespoons of cultured yogurt, or you can use cultured buttermilk already that you have in your refrigerator. Just add it to the buttermilk that you're going to get out of the butter you're making, and you got cultured buttermilk. That's what it means in the store. Okay? And you can use this for biscuits, pancakes, cornbread, whatever you use buttermilk for. That's what you can use this for, because that's what it is. You don't have to culture it because it's going to be thinner if you don't. Like I cultured this one, and this is thick. See how thick that is? Can you guys see how thick that is? That's buttermilk. That's how I make my cultured buttermilk. This one I just started a few hours ago, and I used some of this in this, the cultured buttermilk. From here I put like 2 tablespoons because I'm going to get more buttermilk when I'm done with that. So It sounds complicated, guys, but it's not. Trust me, it's not. And I like to rinse my butter using bottled water. I don't like to use sink water. I have well water out here, and I don't like it to cook with and stuff like that. So even though I have filters in here, I still rather use this to wash my butter. And you know, I have some containers here to put it in. I like to use freezer safe glass to keep the butter stored in, to keep it fresh. And if you're not using it right away, you want to freeze it. But you can also use freezer paper, and wrap it up in freezer paper, then wrap that up in plastic, and then put it in a food storage bag, and then put it in the freezer. However you want to mold it, that's how you freeze it. And you know, I use some cheesecloth after the process just to dry the butter off and take out any remaining moisture. Because when you take out the remaining moisture after you've washed it and the water is clear, it won't go. If you want to keep it in the refrigerator for like a week or so or longer, you want to get as much moisture out of it as you can, because if you don't, it'll go sour on you. So you want to take that out. So let's go back to the mixer, and this is the part that I'm going to show you guys. Okay, this is the part. So this is the the heavy whipping cream that I took past the whipped cream stage. You just want to keep beating it. Just pour it in the bowl. And if you don't have a stand mixer, you can use a hand mixer to make butter. Oh, those old egg beaters that our grandmothers used to use that too. Or people just put the heavy cream in one of these jars and just shake it. It's more work that way, but hey, it gets the job done. So you want to beat this until it looks ridiculously curdled like cottage cheese. Beat the heck out of it. Every once in a while, like now and before, I'll scrape down the bowl, the sides of the bowl, like that. Oops. And you could tell it's getting to turn into butter because it's splashing. You can see it like curdled on my spatula. That's a good thing for butter. Whipped cream, not so much. So there we go. Let's continue. Lock down this mixer. Put it back on. The minute this starts splashing on me and stuff like that, then I'm going to cover it because I don't feel like mopping the floor. But I'll show you, when the fat separates from the milk, which is the buttermilk, like I showed you over here. But I'll show you that. So let's just keep watching the bowl. And to get to this point, it took me about 20 minutes before I stopped the mixer to show you guys what to look for. So you just keep beating it and beating it until you'll see it start forming a milky product on the bottom, or it'll just start splashing it all over your counter. And that's what this towel is for, because when that starts up, I cover my mixer, which I might do now to speed this up because I don't want to hold you guys here that long. This is how you make butter, homemade butter. So see that? I covered my mixer because I don't want it splashing all over the place. At this stage, it's going to start splashing. So let me let you see it one more time before I cover it up. See that? That's what you see. It's already dripping. See that? That's what you're looking for your whole bottom of this bowl to be filled with that milky substance. And if you look closely, you see it. You see that? You see how it's in the bottom there, all wet and milky? Look like somebody poured some milk in there. That's butter, guys. That's what you want. We're there. We're there, guys. We're there. That's what you want, right there. Put it back down. I'm going to cover it up now because I don't feel like this splashing all over the place. And you can peek at it, and I'll just get the kitchen somewhat messy. I don't know if you guys can see in there or not, but let me turn it back on. And the speed of your mixer, of course, when you first start out, you don't want to start out on number 6 or high. You go slow until you get like a thick cream. Then you can gradually increase your speed on the mixer just to speed up the process. This is not rocket science. This is just making butter. So now we're going to turn it on a little bit higher because we're there. So now we're just looking for the butter to separate from the milk solids, from the milk liquid, I'm sorry, the butter solids. And I'm going to turn it up so it can splash all over the place. I hope you guys can see it because I don't have good lighting in here. You can see it splashing the sides of the bowl. If you didn't cover it, it'll splash all over your kitchen. If you have one of those KitchenAid guards, I have so many of them things, but I don't know where they're at. And this would work better anyway. So you see that? You just keep going with the mixer, keep going. And if you have, I like to use the whip attachment, but you can use the beater attachment. There we go, guys. It's coming. This whole process from start to finish, depending on the butter fat of your cream. Okay, I'm going to move this now because this is splashing like crazy. I think I'm going to turn it off so you guys can see. Yeah, because I'm going to finish this off camera. But I just want you guys to see. See? See that? Normally off camera. See that? See that? That's what you want. See all that milky stuff? That's the so-called buttermilk. It's not cultured yet. But you don't have to culture it. You could just use it like that. I don't throw it out. Some people throw it out, but I don't. I don't throw it out. That's butter. You just made butter. You just made butter. I'm going to let it go a minute more just to show you guys. I'm so nice. Clean up this mess. It really doesn't make a lot of a mess, but it splashes once it gets to that, separation point. So you'll hear it slopping around in the bowl. Ooh, see what I mean? See what I mean? Okay. Butter. Homemade butter, homemade butter. And that's the buttermilk solids in the bottom. And that's the mess that I told you it would make if you didn't cover it. But, I wanted to show you guys. So what I'm going to do off camera, because I don't want to hold you guys no more, I'm going to strain this out into this for buttermilk. Now, if you're using a quart, you should get about 2 cups of buttermilk down in the bowl. Depends on the butter fat that you use that's in your heavy whipping cream. But I usually get, because this was just from this bottle right here. I'm testing this one out. Whole Foods, I got it. And that, just the milk, the milky buttermilk, that came out of this one thing here. And that's the finished product of that cream that I use. But I make butter for experimentation purposes. I'm a professional baker. We used to make butter growing up as a kid, but I never paid it any attention. When I went to pastry school, the first thing they made us do is make butter. So easy. I'm like, yeah, I remember this, but I don't remember it being this easy. So what you're going to do is take your butter off of the beater blades, and I just take it right to the ice bowl, put it all together, strain out the buttermilk. Don't throw that away. You can use that. You can culture it, like I said in the beginning of the video. And you just strain your butter out, and after you get it, squeeze, 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 an ice bath. Then you take your butter ball, dry it out, squeeze it out in a cheesecloth, or if you got a good quality paper towel that won't stick to it, you can use that. But this is butter. After you do that, you put it in your container or your molds, and you can use it. It'll last in your refrigerator for a couple of days, up to about a week or so, without, a week or two. Once you squeeze all of the liquid out, that milky stuff there, and you're left with that, it'll last. And you can freeze it. You can bake with it. You can make cakes, cookies, pie crusts, breads, whatever. This, it's just butter. Whatever you use butter for, that's what you would use this for. And I'm going to show you some that I made. I'll give some of it away because I don't need butter. I just sometimes buy it. I only really buy cream when they're on sale. When I go to the grocery store and I see a nice cream that's on sale, then I'll get it. Because, you can freeze cream and then use it another time. If you want to make butter and be impressive, show off during holidays or whatever, make some butter. Here we go. Here's my homemade butter. Ta-da! I made this one into a log. I didn't put any salt, but once you get to that stage, put it on a piece of parchment paper. And you can salt it if you want salted butter. I don't like to do it. Sometimes I do it though. If I'm keeping it on my counter for toast or grilled cheese and stuff like that, then I will salt it. But these are unsalted. You can actually flavor them with anything. And, I put this one in a dish. Still pretty, nice, pretty yellow color. This is homemade butter. And all you got to do is essentially take some cream, put it in a bowl, whip the heck out of it, pass the whipped cream stages, go away, go vacuum your floor or whatever. The whole process would take just for me to get to this stage, took about 20 minutes. After that, it goes really fast. If you come in the kitchen and you see that, you're ready. You're ready. So anyway, guys, I just wanted to show you how to make some homemade butter. Hope I didn't keep you too long. And how to make your own homemade cultured buttermilk. You take the buttermilk that's in the bowl and you could mix it with yogurt that you have. Just not a lot though, because the friendly bacteria will form in the milky liquid. So just use for like a quart of heavy cream. I put like maybe, because you're going to get 2 cups of buttermilk. I put like 2 cups of buttermilk I already have that's cultured, or cultured yogurt. It has to say cultured because that's what you want. You want it thick. This is already thickened, and I had this in here for 2 days already. This one I just put in, and as you can see, it's thinner. All right, guys, that's it. That's it. Get in the kitchen and make some butter and impress yourself. Impress yourself. I'm going to show you guys some more tricks of the baking trade as we go along. I'm just glad I showed you how to make butter because it's easy. It's nothing but one ingredient, heavy cream, heavy whipping cream. Make sure you check the date, the expiration dates. And you just whip the heck out of it until you get this. Put it in your ice bath, squeeze it, the heck out of it. I change my water twice till it's kind of clear. And you want to pat it dry, with the cheesecloth I showed you, or clean kitchen towel. And you can put it in your molds, or you can actually buy molds off of the Big A. Or you can just put it in these dishes. I form this log just using parchment paper. You know how they roll it out, and then, square it off the sides. But you can make any shape you want. That's it. All right, guys, I'm not holding you no more. I'm talking too much. All right. Thank you very much for watching. Get in the kitchen, make some butter. You're going to say, what? This easy? Yeah, it's easy, guys. So when cream is on sale, load up and make some butter for the freezer and for chocolate chip cookies. All right, guys, thanks a lot. I really appreciate you guys. I really appreciate all my subscribers. I love you a lot. Thank you. Bye-bye.